All right, Wanderlust rock climbing community. Here we are with our next adventure. It's Dislocation Direct-ish because we get a little off track. But it's Dislocation Direct up on Granite Mountain. This is Arizona's classic trad climbing destination. You've got to get out here. Just be aware there are no bolted anchors, so you are building these anchors on your own. There's Bert Langmaid. He's going to lead the first pitch for us. The guidebook says it's 5'6", but I put it in parentheses there because it's 5'6", if you know what I mean. So we actually walked up to Pine Tree Ledge to start this climb. So we started about 100 feet above the deck, which is a pretty normal place to start. Here's Bert at the crux. That crux does not go at 5'6". It felt really hard for me. It was almost a max effort to get over that. You see Dan Langmaid here, so climbing legend, a bandito, and he took the 5'3" variation just to confirm that would be easier. If you do this climb, check out this beta for the first pitch. You don't want to miss that awesome thread there on the right. All right, here Dan goes. Now everyone, I hope he won't be embarrassed when I say this, but Dan is 67 years old. He is one of the Arizona Banditos, so this is a climbing group that has roots back to at least the 70s. And this dude is 67 years old, and he's out here on Granite Mountain. Not just following, but leading, climbing harder than me. It's pretty incredible to watch. All right, here I go following the second pitch. The exposure up on Granite Mountain is awesome. If you're not used to it, which I'll just be honest, I'm definitely not used to it yet. It can be a little different. You have to let yourself adjust. But the exposure is incredible. The climbing is fun. Again, you've got to get out here to Granite Mountain. I will say this, if you're going to come out to Granite Mountain, don't just rely on Mountain Project. The first time we came out here, we bailed because we just could not figure out where the routes were going. There's so many cracks to follow on this mountain that it can be a little bit overwhelming. So stop in town in Prescott at the hiking shack. Get, I think his name's Bill Kramer, but he has a guidebook. He has a topo that will help you sort of decipher the spider web of cracks going up this beautiful granite wall. All right, so now we're seeing why this area is called the Swamp Slabs. There's some swampiness. Now, most of what we climbed on this day they were clean, nice cracks, but you do find this swampiness on Granite Mountain for sure, especially on the Swamp Slabs side, which is the far left of the mountain. By the way, the approach for Granite Mountain is about an hour and a half. And the first time you get out there, you're going to get lost. It's going to take a little bit longer to find your way up to the base of the wall. But this is a pretty remote place. compared to your average crag. I guess that's because it's not your average crag. All right, here I am finishing my follow of pitch 2. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm still getting used to this kind of exposure. So, I mean, I was doing fine, but I was really looking forward to clipping in to this anchor and standing on a nice ledge. And that was just not in the cards for me here. So I do go ahead and clip in, but I just have to stand in this super exposed position. So we broke the climb into 4 pitches. Mountain Project has it at 2. You see me pulling out my phone here, right? We're trying to figure it out. We had 2 different guidebooks. They both said different things as far as the topo and breaking it down into pitches. So this probably wasn't the best place for us to stop. But when you're doing this kind of climbing, you just kind of run out of gear and you have to build an anchor. So there I am in that exposed position. So Bert and Dan just handed me the rack and said, hey Brian, no room for you on the ledge here, so you're gonna have to go ahead and lead this next pitch. So here I am taking the gear, and I'm looking up and I'm seeing this intimidating roof, and I'm wondering what this roof is gonna go at. I'm a little worried I won't be able to send, but sometimes you got to go for it. All right, here I go again. Pretty awkward start. I don't want to whip directly on the anchor, so I figure I'll clip into this top piece here. I don't want to, if I fall, I don't want to hit both Bert and Dan below. So might be a little unorthodox to clip that anchor piece there, but I'm trying to avoid that factor 2 fall on the anchor, and I'm trying to avoid hitting both my partners if I do go ahead and fall. All right, so pitch 3. So the corner here, the dihedral, it was a little intimidating. It looked like it might be a little tougher than 5-6, but I was able to climb the face, as you can see right here. And I'm aware that my only piece right now is a component of that anchor, so I want to get something else in here pretty quickly. So I got that hex in. I know a lot of people love to make fun of hexes, but they have half the weight of their commensurate cams in size. So I love carrying a few hexes. I really like using them for anchor building because then it frees up a cam to place while I'm leading, but they can also be great to place on lead. So this whole climb called for a lot of foot jamming. You can see me right there. Foot jams will get you up dislocation direct. Here we are putting in a 0.4, and I'm pretty close to the roof now. Go ahead and extend that sling. All right, now I've got to think about how I'm going to protect this roof. I'm starting to notice I don't see a lot of feet for pulling this roof, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. So knowing that I'm not 100% sure I'm going to actually be able to do this move, I want to go ahead and get in some really good pro, because I'm still pretty close to my climbing partners. I don't want to go flying down and whack into them, especially since one of them has me on belay. All right, we're going to reach for that beautiful 0.75. Get it in that roof crack. I wish you could see the actual placement. You'll have to take my word, it was gorgeous. And here you see I'm going to go ahead and extend this placement with a 120 centimeter runner, because I really want to make sure that once I do clear this roof, my progress is not stopped by rope drag. So anytime you're placing pieces before a roof, you want to make sure you extend. Why do I have lockers on this? Simply because I have a whole bunch of lockers. Lockers are not necessary. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I am quite conservative in my risk management, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got 2 good pieces protecting this roof move. All right, now I've protected it, and there's nothing left to do but to go for it. So I'm going to have to smear out onto this face, and these are probably the worst feet on the climb. Maybe the crux on the first pitch was commensurate with this, but you really just have to commit to the smear and go for it. And so I reached my right hand up, hoping for a jug, and there was a jug. It was beautiful, and so I named this pitch. I mean, I'm sure maybe it actually has a historic name, but for this video, I named this the goof roof, because even a goof like me could send this roof. It just wasn't hard. It was a really fun move. You reached your hands up there, and there were just beautiful jugs. So I think all 3 of us felt that this was the most enjoyable pitch and the most fun move on the whole climb was pulling that roof.
Twisting. What's the twist? The wrong way.
All right, I'm feeling great now. Having sent the goof roof. Now it's just some fun, easy climbing. Placing stoppers on Dislocation Direct was super easy. There were stopper placements everywhere, so make sure you bring your nuts. You can probably tell a lot of this climbing is 5'4". Modern, gym climbers would probably call it 5'6". Really, the only portion of this route that I really felt was more difficult than that was maybe that move on the roof, but certainly the crux on the first pitch. That was definitely tougher than 5'6". Granite Mountain is pretty notoriously sandbagged, so just keep that in mind if you head out. All right, I'm done with the pitch, so I am building the anchor. I'm going to get 3 bomber pieces in here, and then I'm going to bring up Bert and Dan. Here it comes. This is my absolute favorite hex. The red number 6. Here we go. Look at this gorgeous placement. Bomber. So I extended that, I think number 1 up there to make sure I had enough material to build this anchor. And the only thing I don't like about this is I had that knot, that so-called European death knot up by that hex. Not a huge problem, but that could have been, that was a little sloppy.
I'm indirect, you can take me off belay.
All right, here comes Bert following
Yeah, I was
up
gonna
on
say
pitch
that.
3.
Less swampy. More slabby.
You can see Bert there. He's testing that rock before he yards on it. There is some loose rock up on Granite Mountain, just like in at most crags, especially trad climbing areas. So if you go up here, make sure you're not just yarding on everything as hard as you can. You need to assess the rock before you pull on it. And so here is Dan leading pitch 4. And right where he is right now, actually in that dihedral, there's some loose rock. So after filming this, we heard it. We recognized that rock was loose. So I was sure to get out of the fall zone there.
I'm trying to get to a good spot so I can put it in the throw.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, right here.
There you go.
Here I am following pitch 4. Bert and Dan went up and put me on belay. Then I cleaned that anchor. And now I'm just toe jamming all the way up. Really fun, just easy climbing. And there we are. Dan belayed me from that rock. That wasn't his anchor, though. He had that backed up all the way back there, the bomber anchor. And we got high enough where we could scramble up and start the descent. So getting down, you walk off climbers left. It probably took us 30 to 40 minutes to get back down to the base. But then once you get back down to the base, it's another hour to your car. So this adventure for us was 8 hours and 10 minutes car to car. The walk-off was not complicated. It was just a bushwhack. Very few people are using these trails. If you think about, how few people climb, it's a super small percentage of the population. And then if you think about, what percentage of climbers actually trad climb and build trad anchors, it's pretty low. So there we are. Thank you for joining us. Get on out to Granite Mountain. Do not forget to like and subscribe.